Hello, my name is Michael Mills, and today we are going to be talking about geometry. Specifically, we're going to be dealing with the but bear with me today. Cut my hand, nice on glass, so that was fun. So the shapes that I draw might be a little crude, but hopefully I'll be able to get the point across. And so today I'm going to be working on a upper kindergarten or lower first, really any kindergarten and lower first grade this lesson. And so my teaks are that we'll be able to, at the end of the lesson we'll be able to identify two-dimensional shapes, including circles, triangles, rectangles, and squares as special rectangles. And then be able to identify the attributes of those shapes. And so, like I said, we'll be focusing on the Van Healy model, and here's a paper about that. And specifically, we'll be looking at level 0, which focuses on visualization, and level 1, which focuses on analysis. And so level 0 is focusing on what the shape looks like, and then level 1 is focused more on the attributes or properties. So like say a square, an attribute or property of that would be that it has 4 vertices or points or corners and 4 equilateral sides. It has 4 sides that are the same length. And so that's what a property or attribute is just kind of a characteristic. And so level 0 is focused on what a shape looks like. And so if you were to go with a child and draw, let's say, a circle, in level 0 they would be able to identify that that was a circle. But if you were to ask them why it was a circle or what made it a circle, they would probably have a response like because it is or because it's a circle. They wouldn't really be able to go into details to why it was, why it would be characterized as a circle. They couldn't name the attributes of that circle. And so another thing an activity that you could do is say you had a line of shapes. So we'll have a rectangle there, a square here, a circle, a triangle, and let's do a very crude I'll redraw that octagon. That was kind of sloppy. There we go, and an octagon. And so you could just go with the student and go shape by shape, and they would be able to tell you that that's a rectangle, that's a square, that's a circle, that's a triangle, and that's an octagon. You'd have to work with octagon. That's a more complicated shape. And an activity that you could do is apply that to real life objects. So say with the octagon, you could say, what do we know or what can we think about that we see in real life that is an octagon or has this same shape? And you could talk it with your students, and eventually, hopefully, y'all will get to that it's the same shape as a stop sign. And you could do it with these shapes too. A circle is like a tire. A square is like a little card. A rectangle is a card. And yeah, you can just go and they can apply their knowledge of the shapes themselves to real life objects. Or like the example that Miss Matthews showed us in class of you can go on a shape hunt in the school and they can find certain objects in the school that are this shape. So you could say, Johnny, go find a circle or any shape that you want to, and they could search the school and they could look for a circle, and then they could show you what it was and explain how, or not explain how, they can just show you that it was a circle and tell you that, yeah, basically in level 0 they're going to tell you it's a circle, and that's all you're going to get. And so that's because they're focusing on what it looks like, the visualization of the shape. They can tell you what shape it is when they look at it, but they can't really go into detail. Or if you do ask, they'll give you the response of because it is or because it looks that way. And then level 1, what we'll do in level 1 is it's called the analysis level. And so what you can do with that is say you had a triangle. So they would, again, like in level 0, be able to tell you that that's a triangle, but then in this level they'll also be able to tell you why it's a triangle. They can tell you it's because it has three points or vertices, and that it has 3 closed sides, so it's not like this, it's closed, they're connected. And then same like I was saying about the square, they'll be able to tell you why it's, so they'll be able to, you can go, Johnny, what shape is that? And they'll go, well, it's a square, of course. And they can, then in this level you can ask, why is it a square? And they can go into detail about that it has 4 vertices or corners, that if they're really on that game, they can tell you they're 4 90-degree corners, and then that they have 4 equal sides. And yeah, and so an activity that you could do in this level, in level 1, is you could have, say you could have a giant T-chart in the room, and one side you could have 3 corner, wow, that's supposed to be an E, corners, and then this side you can have 4 corners. There we go. And you could have just an array of shapes, and so you could have, say we have our shape bank over here, you could have all different sized shapes and squares, rectangles, triangles, etc. And what they would have to do is they'd have to they would have to put the correct shape in the correct slot on the T-chart. So the 3 corners would obviously be the triangles. So they would be they'd be able to 1 2 3, 1 2 3, and then 1 2 3, and then you'll have these, which will all have 1 2 3 4, 1 2 3 4, 1 2 3 4, 1 2 3 4. All of those will have 4 corners. And so that is a brief lesson on geometry in kinder or first grade classroom using the Van Healy model. But something to really keep in mind is for there to be mastery of the Van Healy model, there are 3 things that have to occur. You have to be sequential in how you teach the levels. You can't jump from level 0 to level 2. You have to go level 0, level 1, level 2. You have to work through in order. You can't skip around. Another thing is to master it is advancement. So they have to master that level in order to move on to the next. They can't kind of get it. They need to have a complete understanding and working knowledge of that level to be able to work to the next. And the last thing that is crucial to the Van Healy model being effective in your classroom is you have to watch out for a mismatch. You can't, and what that is that say your students are at a level 0 and you're teaching at a level 2. There's a mismatch there. They're not, what you're saying is just going to fly right over their heads because their little minds are at level 0 when you're trying to get super into proofs and stuff on level 2, and that is way beyond their knowledge. And so you have to be careful for that mismatch. If your students are on a level 0, you need to teach on a level 0. You need to teach at a level 0. If your students level 1, teach at a level 1. You can't be above them or below them. Your students could be above you. They could be level 1 and you're teaching at level 0. And that's still mismatch. You have to be on the same level as you're teaching. And so, yeah, that was geometry using the Van Healy levels, level 0, which was visualization, and level 1 analysis. And so that was geometry.